6:04. Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, off and running. Brian here with you. John LaBeouf producing. John LaBeouf, you made it in, man.
I made it.
Let's
We're
go.
Here. Let's go. I'm ready. You excited?
Right. I'm on fumes. No, I'm not excited.
Oh.
See, you're in for your first show of the winter storm.
Well, I mean,
you know,
I get it. I get it. I understand.
We're actually going to dive into that in a little bit. I want to hear about your experience because you were over in Denham.
Yeah.
On the other side of the river. A lot goes into the logistics of a winter storm as compared to the logistics of a hurricane. So, we'll chat in just a moment. We got to knock out top stories and trending first.
Number 5.
Gonna have a lot of storm related stuff on this. Number 5. Well, actually, this is not storm related to start off. 47-year-old Daniel Aguilard was arrested for negligent arson after a car crashed into a home on South Sherwood Forest Drive back on Saturday. The crash caused no injuries, but $110,000 worth of damage. Aguilard admitted to driving the vehicle. He allegedly claimed he passed out at the wheel due to a medical condition. Baton Rouge Fire said Aguilard claimed he fled the scene after a ruptured gas line caught fire and scared him.
Number 4.
Curbside garbage recycling and out-of-cart services will resume in East Baton Rouge Parish today, but with a late start. This is in an effort to limit travel in the early morning hours. The city parish made the announcement. If an area can't be serviced due to icy roads or time limitations, then that area will be serviced on its next regularly scheduled collection day.
Number 3.
The Mississippi River Bridge will likely reopen today. Talking about the I-10 bridge, the Horace Wilkinson Bridge, or as we like to call it, the new bridge, likely going to be reopened today. Joe Donahue from DOTD, and we're going to have this audio later on in the show, made the announcement yesterday because he was kind of going through what will and won't open in the near future. Mississippi River Bridge today. Bonacare Spillway, probably not until tomorrow.
Number 2.
The Baton Rouge Metro Airport announced that the airfield opened Wednesday after, of course, the winter storm Enzo. The airport said they just welcomed their first arrival yesterday evening. Flight operations will resume this morning. The first departure will be United Airlines to Houston at 7:15 a.m. We got some great pics of the work being done to get the airport back up and running. They're over on our Facebook page if you want to check them out.
Number 1.
The storm was not without fatalities. There were 2 people reported who actually died as a result of trying to stay warm in the storm. We'll have it from we'll have the story in its entirety later on. But a fire broke out while trying to stay safe. I'm going to start while trying to stay warm. I don't know if it was the result of a space heater or something else that went on that started the fire, but we are not without fatalities in this storm.
Well, that stole some thunder from the training. We didn't know what we were going to do, and that's what I was actually going to discuss, the fatalities during the
I heard the governor made mention of it at his press conference, but I haven't seen the write-up on it, and I was on BRZ, I was on the Advocate, I was on AFB, so that leads me to believe that it's not local.
No, I don't think so, because according to ABC News, of course, 10 deaths were reported, and of course, due to freezing temperatures, car crashes, hypothermia. Devastating.
But the 10 deaths, that's throughout the whole storm.
Throughout, right?
Yeah.
That's not
localized. Yesterday, ABC was reporting that 90,000 people were without power as a result of the storm. And it's like when you look at that, you cover Houston, Beaumont, Lake Charles, Lafayette, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Biloxi, Gulf Shores. I mean, this storm went all the way through the panhandle of Florida. Like, if you look at 90,000 people over that swath, that's not that big a deal.
It's not. It's not.
10
Not
deaths
to,
is bad no matter where,
I was gonna say
regardless.
not
But
to minimize it.
yeah,
But
I'm not trying to
no,
minimize
no,
it.
no, no, you're not. But just kind of echoing what you're saying.
Yeah, just
It's devastating nonetheless.
uh,
But
uh,
considering the span
right.
of what this covered,
Yeah.
considering the people impacted.
And going back to it though, the car crashes, I'm really surprised that number isn't higher. There were a lot of people on the roads yesterday.
Yeah.
Now that being
Yeah.
said, so I got out on the road yesterday after I was done here. Finally got to go back home again.
Yeah.
And man, Florida Boulevard looked great. Government Street looked great. North Boulevard looked great.
So by that time it was melted.
I kind of like zigzagged my way over to get a good look at each one.
Yeah.
You get well, you know what? I'm gonna pause that conversation until 6:25 because that's what's actually on the rundown.
Sounds good. Sounds good. In other news, Trump, of course, discusses TikTok wildfires and pardons in his first Oval Office interview.
1,500 blanket pardons for January 6th.
Yeah.
I think, there's going to be a lot of. One of the things about a Donald Trump presidency is there's going to be a lot of disagreement within the party.
Right.
We're not going to have party unity with him there because not only does he march to the beat of a different drum, but he fires the drummer midway through. And this is one where I think he should have taken a closer look at the level of participation in this, because when one side tries to rewrite history to make it seem like this was a big nothing burger, and another tries to rewrite history to make it seem like this was the largest coup in world history, there were people that were participating without even realizing they were participating. I know that sounds stupid, but at every step along the way, it became like, oh God, this is going to be such a deep cut of a reference. Did you ever see Crocodile Dundee 2?
2? No, not that I can recall. First one, classic. I don't know. Sequels or
so they got to break
hit and
Jane.
miss, right?
I think her name's Jane.
Uh-huh.
The female lead. They got to break her out of this drug kingpin's castle, which is
Okay.
in New York, and they recruit all these people to do it. But before you know it, half the people that are participating in this just think they're going to a party. So it's like you got the core people who knew what they were doing. You got those who like kind of had an idea. And then, you got like, Colin Quinn's character in Crocodile Dundee 2. That was way too deep of a cut from way too long ago.
Man,
I need a much better comp. I need a better reference than
the
Crocodile
fact that
Dundee.
that's on the forefront of your mind.
That's why I don't have look, because you know what's not there? Physics, chemistry, science in any way.
Crocodile Dundee 2, though, man.
Yeah,
right there.
I call on bad Leroy Brown in Crocodile Dundee 2.
Oh man.
What the hell are we talking about? Oh, January 6th. It's been a long week.
It seems that way. Yeah.
You got anything else trending this morning, or was that it?
That's it.
All
for
right.
now.
Hey, top stories and trending, of course, brought to you by the folks over at the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. Talked to Mike Edwards yesterday. He sent me over some pictures that were just phenomenal. Check out our Facebook page. We've got I put all the pictures, combine them into a reel. Just post them individually as well. Getting work done, moving all the snow off the runway, getting it out to melt off whatever needs to go away, push off whatever needs to go away to get back up and running again. They are up and running again as of this morning. Now, I'm not 100% sure if that includes the direct flight to Washington, D.C. Okay? Because that's one that's early this morning. I'm not 100% sure that one's in the mix. But here's the thing. In times like this, and it's probably a good idea all the time, visit flybtr.com, flybtr.com before you head to the airport just to check the status of your flight. Whether you're talking about a major emergency, major crisis, or your everyday routine, sometimes things go wrong and flights can get delayed. If you visit flybtr.com or contact your airline directly, they can let you know the status of your flight before making your way all the way up to the airport. No, by the way, as you're going to the airport today, it's going to have to be, it's going to have to be a route that doesn't include I-110 because that's not open back up just yet. But I'll be heading to Washington, D.C. later on this afternoon, close to this evening. If you're going to Washington, D.C., not today, but in general, there's a direct flight at flybtr2dc.com. They set up a special website for it. I was on the website yesterday. It is still up and running, flybtr2dc.com. Note to self: when you're the only person in the building and you make a pot of coffee first thing in the morning, and you drink a big cup of coffee first thing in the morning, when you go back to do an afternoon drive show and you say, "Oh, hey, pot of coffee," that was the one that you made this morning. I did this day before yesterday. That was the same pot you made that morning, and it tastes like motor oil.
Oof.
Oh.
So Haggai's coming on today?
Phone, but yeah.
Okay. Okay, I put him on the I just was making sure. I put him in the notes.
All right, I want that Jaden Daniels cut first.
Okay. Let's see.
And then if there's time, the Patrick Mahomes. .618 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We got LSU women's basketball. We are home for LSU women's basketball here on Talk 107.3 FM. Was supposed to be tonight. The big battle. LSU, number 5 in the nation, at number 2, South Carolina. However, due to the winter weather travel restrictions, this game has been postponed. It will be played tomorrow, 4 p.m. So instead of 7 p.m. tonight, tomorrow, 4 p.m., LSU at South Carolina. It got pushed back by just shy of a day, so the Tigers could get there. So you'll still hear it here on Talk 107.3 FM for sure. I will tell you this: it's Washington Mardi Gras is being a bit of a it's difficult to get things scheduled right now because, well, number one, I'm supposed to be there already, and number two, the other folks who can't get there, you don't know where your content's coming from yet, and then add this on to it. So with LSU playing South Carolina at 4 p.m., what we're going to do here is instead of doing an afternoon drive show tomorrow, we're gonna bump some of Dave Ramsey, and we're gonna go from I believe 1 till 3, and then pregame would begin at 3:30. So you know what? I need to reach out to the people that I'm gonna be there with and say, hey, can we just run for an extra half hour? You know what? Sorry, I'm mapping out content in real time. Let's go ahead and make that happen. We'll see if we can't do that. Go one until all the way up to handing off to Patrick Wright. All right. Speaking of handing off, we're gonna have to hand off to the Fox Business Report right about now. When we come back, let's talk about those of the folks who are out on the roads, who should be, and maybe who's not there yet. We'll continue this conversation next after the Fox Business Report on Talk 107.3.
Dang, that was fast.
What?
That was fast.
We ran long in the first segment.
Yeah.
We ran way long.
I was like, ooh.
Oh, gosh.
Are you reading it this fast, or is that sped up?
I did. If it got sped up, it got sped up by Scotty in production afterwards. That's sped up. The disclaimer sped up. The regular copy is me. Ooh. Let's go ahead and start you up on I-12 westbound, just before you have to get off anyway, where it closes down. You're going to find an accident, 12 west in between Airline and Sherwood. This popped up about maybe 8 minutes ago. It is slowing things down. Not that there's a whole lot of volume up there, but the volume that is there is slowing down because of the accident, which happens right before the interstate's closing anyway. So if you're coming in from points westward, if you're coming in from Livingston Parish, hop off at Sherwood, hop off at Millerville's not going to take you all the way up to Florida. Hop off at O'Neill, that'll take you all the way up to Florida. Then you can continue your trek westward from there. Flipping things around, all the rest of the interstates are still closed. 10 is closed all the way out through Highland. And then of course when you go west, 10 is closed. I believe it's still all the way to Lafayette. 110 is still closed right now as well. Surface streets, there are no other accidents to look out for. It's just the one traffic crash that's up on 12 West. That's all we got right now. So that's your look at traffic from the Shawville Star Traffic Center. .624 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Governor Jeff. Oh, sorry, we are. I hadn't reset the temperature. Yes, we're starting off with another freeze this morning, and we're starting off at 27 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge, and it feels like 27. There's no wind or anything to add to that. So 27 is where we're starting at. 49 is what we're hoping to get to today, which should mean the rest of the thaw. Let's hope. Governor Jeff Landry held a press conference yesterday. In that press conference, he talked about a number of things. He talked a lot about fire safety for sure. I don't know if we're going to get to that throughout the day. Well, you know what? We're going to get to Kurt Monte later on. We'll let him handle that into the conversation. But the governor did talk about who is and is not up on the roads. And as he talked about safety on the roads, he just, reiterated that precaution to stay home if you can.
If you're going to be on the roadway, as those roadways start to thaw throughout today, they will refreeze tonight. And so if you do have to be on the roadways, make sure to go extremely slow. Use a lot of caution. Just don't get in a hurry to go anywhere.
So I finally got out on the road yesterday, which after being holed up here for a little while, I just, wanted to go home. And the roads looked a lot better than I thought they would. A lot cleaner, a lot less ice, a lot less snow. Now, my specific example is not the example for it's not a sample size for the whole city, right? I'm just describing what I saw yesterday. And I went out on Government Street, and when they say the difference between being in the shade and being in the sunlight is all the difference, it is. Oh my goodness gracious. As I'm driving, making my way from downtown towards mid-city up Government Street, anytime there was a building casting a shadow on the street, you had thick ice where that was. And then you got back out in the sunlight, and it was just dry road. Of course, you still had snow piled up on either side of the road, but the roadway itself looked good. So from there, I cut over to North Boulevard, gave that one a look, and took North Boulevard for a couple blocks. And I'm shocked, I tell you, unbelievably shocked to have seen that the North Boulevard overpass was open. Now, it was dry all the way up to where it became elevated, right? You see, like on the up as the ramp starts up, it was looking good. But then we're talking like powder snow still yesterday, and nary a break in it. Very, very few people had driven it by this point yesterday, probably 2:00 yesterday afternoon. So we were above freezing for a few hours by that point, but it looked like it was fresh. It looked like it had just snowed. We weren't 24 hours removed from the snow. So I was unbelievably surprised that was even open. So I did about 3 miles per hour, 4 miles per hour to get over and back down again without incident. And then I made my way over to Florida Boulevard before going the whole way home. And Florida was beautiful. The work that got done on Florida Boulevard, I mean, there were still, like you said, if you had like the shadow of a tree casting over one of the lanes, you were going to see ice and snow in that lane. But for the most part, the work that got done out there to clear off Florida Boulevard, just like the work that got done on Government Street. And I assume there was work done because it was just so clean. You could tell where you had people just drove a path through it, where you'd have the 2 tire ruts and all the snow and ice and everything. And then in other spots where it was like, oh, no. Somebody passed through to push all the snow out of the way and then just let it dry from there. But I got to wondering yesterday, and I think that the answer is ultimately going to be no, but should we be out more once we're above freezing? Maybe not yesterday, but maybe today. Obviously, you don't want to get in the way of the officials who are working, right? You don't want to get in the way of our makeshift snowplow. You don't want to get in the way of anybody who's clearing things. If you see DOTD workers or DPW workers, you don't want to be jamming them up. But clearing the roads, they're starting from the most busy, working their way down. If we're going out, we're probably not going to start off on the most busy, right? We're going to be on the lower end for traffic usage. But would stand to reason that once we're above freezing, a little bit of repetition with cars passing over the ice, it would create more heat, create more friction, create more melt. Now, the flip side of that is you have more people on the road, you're going to have more accidents. Yeah, I mean, that's just there's no way around that math. But I wouldn't be shocked if once we're up above freezing today, a lot of folks say, no, I gotta, I've been in the house since Tuesday, since Monday. Time to get out, time to stretch. I know I was turning full Jack Torrance yesterday up in this building. So, oh, by the way, one last note here, and shout out to Matthew on Twitter, who sent me a message that said, I've been picking up and dropping off employees since 5:30. If people would drive like they're 50 and pay their own car note instead of drive like they're 20 and daddy pays for it, we'd be fine. So true. So true. If you're driving with caution, like you have something to lose, everything would be great. All right, 6:30. Here comes news, traffic, weather. Haggai Davis up next. Oh. Because Washington Mardi Gras has always had that reputation,
Like I get
which
it,
that's exactly why I go there, exactly why I do what I do.
yeah,
It's because that reputation is bullshit.
right. Oh man. The very excellent Mr. Dundee is a fun watch. It was Olivia Newton-John's last movie. Huh.
It's
Byron.
a completely different movie.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with what I was mentioning.
That's a real movie though. The very excellent Mr. Dundee. What? Good morning, everyone. like
I mean, way to oversimplify my entire take, Keith. Maybe 4, maybe 5 miles per hour. I gave it a go. It was open. So I having never driven over thick ass snow and ice. I was like, let me give this a shot.
Yeah.
Let the thaw continue. When are we getting up above freezing? Here's Emma Kate Cowan. .637 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Not back to normal programming across the board just yet, but we are moving in that direction, and that means it's Thursday. It's 6:35 or 6:38. Here comes Cup of Tech Gumbo. Yeah, it's time for Cup of Tech Gumbo. Joining us on the hotline is Haggai Davis. How are you, man?
Oh, I'm doing good, Brian. How are you?
Doing very well. Doing very well. How bad you get it over there in River Bend?
So I had 8 inches of snow on the hood of my truck at the height of at the end of the snow,
Mm-hmm.
and there's still 6 inches of snow in the bed of my truck right now.
Oh goodness. I take it you haven't been out at all.
No, I mean, we walked down to the levee to go watch the college kids, which was quite amusing. I mean, in the middle of the snow, there was more traffic on Brightside than on college game day. I mean, every kid who's in college was out there at the levee, and they all drove down to the levee.
To
and then
do
watching
what?
Well, they were snow sledding down the levee on mattresses and toboggans and kayaks and garbage can lids and anything that plastic covers from whatever they could find that they could sit on. They were sliding down the hill on, and a bunch of them were dragging. If you had a truck and a rope, you were dragging your buddies, behind the truck going down River Road.
Oh yeah.
A long time ago when I was at LSU, would I have been doing that exact same thing? Yeah, you know I would have.
100%.
But you know,
100%.
at this advanced stage, I was like, oh my God, I got to quit watching this, or I'm going to be a witness in court at some point.
No. Look, if we're gonna, when you cross reference college kids with redneckery, all kind of fun's gonna be had.
Oh yeah, and none of them were sober, so I mean, it was very typical.
Great, so they weren't feeling it. Awesome.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, it was funny. It was great to watch. It was great entertainment.
All right, we got a lot to cover here. There's a lot of folks picked up some new followers on Facebook. We're gonna talk about that in a or who they were following on Facebook. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I got to start with TikTok. TikTok, which is they pulled themselves down for a couple of hours, but they were right back up and running. Haggai, so many different things were discussed leading up to the quote unquote ban of TikTok, and them pulling themselves down for a couple of hours was not one that I saw.
No, it was really interesting. So they were down for 12 to 14 hours or so, because they pulled themselves down on Saturday night before the official date.
Yes.
And so, there's a little pop-up message if you went there, we've been shut down here in the U.S. kind of thing. And then conversations apparently happened with, at that point, still President-elect Trump, and he made some guarantees, and then so they turned all the services back on, and Monday he signed one of the, 100,000 executive orders he did, that said that, hey, we're going to give you 75 days to get right with us. And there was all kinds of aluminum foil hat conspiracy things that Facebook had bought them, and that Disney had bought them, and none of that was true. Facebook has had a TikTok account for a long, long time. It was, it's really, really fascinating, the reasons, the thinkings, and the speculation that TikTok was doing all the things. And all TikTok was doing was just trying not to lose money, because it was interesting. Blue Sky, Twitter, Instagram, and they all jumped out and said, hey, look, Saturday they started posting, we have short form videos as well.
Oh yeah.
You don't have to go to TikTok. And there's a lot of speculation that was why TikTok turned their services back on as quickly as they did, because all of a sudden, maybe it wasn't just that everyone needed TikTok. Everyone just wants their short form video.
So, there's validity to that for sure. I could tell you the difference between TikTok and Reels, or the TikTok and YouTube Shorts, or wherever else is. I don't know how to describe it. I just like TikTok better. They feed me videos that I enjoy better than if you were to scroll through my Reels right now, Haggai, you would find a lot of politics and a lot of people trying to handle snakes, which is strange. I don't know why.
The algorithms.
Yeah.
The algorithms that TikTok has is just better.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yes.
And
they give you what you ask for. They are beyond compare. Give you what you ask for. But what I found surprising though was, number one, they did it voluntarily. Number two, Joe Biden straight up said, I'm not going to enforce this ban. I'm gonna let Donald Trump be the bad guy if he wants to be the bad guy. What kind of you and I talked about this repeatedly, and it was one of the questions I asked, and at the time it sounded like a stupid question, but I said, what happens if they just ignore the ban? What if everybody just decides to look the other way on the ban? And kind of that's what we're looking at right now.
This reprieve from the governor, if you will, or from the president to stay the execution it's an interesting play.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously the president has a lot of powers as to whether or not when to choose to enforce whatever laws, and that's for legal scholars to decide, not me. I think it's interesting that we can just say, hey, here's a law that was signed and passed, a bipartisan law that was signed and passed, had a 9-0 vote in the Supreme Court that said it was illegal, and the president who signed it said, I'm going to just let the next guy fool with it. And so obviously there was a lot of backroom communications between the Biden administration and the Trump administration that say, this is what's coming up with TikTok. Y'all figure that out. We're out of here. Thanks and have a good day. I just find it with all of the big tech execs all spending millions of dollars to be in the rotunda at the swearing in. It's all just really fascinating TV to try and keep up with.
Oh no, 100%. Yeah, it's in try and keep up with it. The emphasis on try right there, because I don't know that you can.
It's moving faster than Quicksilver. I mean, it just.
Hey, before the break and move on, I do want to go back to the tinfoil hat wearing people, because there were a whole lot of folks on TikTok who said, who work in IT, who work in the business and whatnot, who said that there's, and I don't know how to quote them the right way, but everything that happened on TikTok's side felt like there was a movement to a different server or movement to different servers. What does that look like, and is it even possible?
For something like TikTok, which is replicated through data centers around the world, it would be really hard you're taking a platform down for those 12 hours. You're not really trying to move from one data center to another. Mm-hmm. You're trying to, if you were just going to try and make some back office changes, there's no reason to take the platform down. You make your changes in a test setting environment. You run it in a test setting environment, and then you just make it go live. There's no reason to have taken anything down to make any kind of changes.
Okay. We got more to dig in on here, but I want to move over to a different topic altogether, and we got a break coming up right now. So drop Haggai back on hold here. You are listening to Cup of Tech Gumbo as part of Mornings with Brian Haldane. We'll break. We'll check traffic. We'll check your money now, and we will continue next. This new laptop is being a butthole. I'm gonna need Bo to come in. Yeah. Get ready for a full-throated endorsement of TikTok by ripping Meta a new butthole in this segment. It's downright sinister what they do. All 652 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along, dipping down at 26. We dropped a degree here. 26 at downtown Baton Rouge. Continuing on with Haggai Davis for a cup of tech gumbo. All right, Haggai, we're going to move from TikTok over to Meta. But I got to tell you, this is going to go right back to TikTok because in my time on TikTok, I've never had to follow anybody that I never voluntarily followed. Meanwhile, on Meta, I do my level best to avoid politics on social media. It's social, for crying out loud. And yet, all of a sudden, I'm following Donald Trump, Melania Trump, and J.D. Vance. What's up with that?
So a lot of people in the past 4 years may have followed the White House or President Biden or POTUS or any one of those, a level of accounts, which when the president changes, then those accounts revert over to the new occupant of the White House.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what Meta did on Monday. Everybody who may or may not have been following President Biden or First Lady Jill Biden or the President of the United States account in general, all of a sudden now they're following Donald Trump. And people are getting these posts from Donald J. Trump, from Melania, and they're, wait, I didn't follow, I don't want to follow Trump. How come this is showing up in my inbox? They're not just force feeding you the new administration accounts. They just handed over the keys from the old account to the new account. And so a lot of people, especially those who were Democrats, were very, very upset to start seeing these things and not realizing that Joe Biden didn't own those accounts. Those were, and they may have been all the way back to it. They started following President Obama, and it's been Donald Trump and then Biden and now Trump again. So a lot of that is happening in the background that people don't realize those things. But Meta is not out there force feeding you to follow President Trump or anything like that.
I was not in that boat though. I never followed Joe Biden. I never followed Donald Trump. I never followed Barack Obama. And I don't think President Bush even had one. And I've never followed the White House either. I actively avoid politics I do my level best to avoid politics on social media for a couple reasons. Number one, no one's ever won a Facebook argument. Number two is it's for me escapism from the real world, not the other way around. So
I 100% agree with you, Brian. But Meta has come out and said they have not changed their policies. They're not force feeding anybody to follow the president or any of the accounts that come out of the White House. They're saying that we just turned it over from what, and it may have been that you accidentally did, and that the Biden administration wasn't that active on that platform. There's a lot of things like that could have happened over the years, and now all of a sudden the Trump administration has decided they are going to be very active on those platforms. I can't sit there and say that Meta is force feeding you when they're coming out and saying we've not changed anything, we're not pushing anything to anybody. This is the new users of those accounts who are pushing a lot more content that was there in the past.
Okay, now, but this is the same Meta who has in the past said they don't manipulate what content is fed to you either. When it came to COVID, when it came to the 2020 election, this is the same Meta who has said in the past, no, we don't do any of that, and then come back around to say, yeah, maybe our algorithm tries to downplay things that look like they come from a right-leaning source, or tries to downplay things that didn't come officially from the government when it came to COVID. So, this is a Meta who has a horrible track record for lying about this stuff.
Well, and also if you've taken any notice, especially with Mark Zuckerberg of late, he has made a hard shift to the right in his politics.
Oh,
and
yes, and that has nothing to do with politics and everything to do with money.
Well, of course, but he's also moved the human sensors that were in California.
Mm-hmm.
He's moved that whole division to Texas now.
Yeah,
because he doesn't want the biases that live in California. He wants the biases in Texas to be his human arbiters of content, and so there's been a shift over there because I don't know why. Everyone has their own speculations, but the left has not been that kind to Mark Zuckerberg of the last several years, and so he's found a nice, comfortable home on the political right. So don't be surprised if you don't see Meta making more of a shift to the right from the left.
Okay, as someone who is a lifelong Republican, I take no solace in that. I want them to have, I want it to be a net zero here. And I know it's impossible to get politics out of it. And I know I spent the last 48 hours unfollowing and snoozing people who weren't posting about snow. Like if you were posting about anything other than having snowball fights in your backyard or front yard, I don't want to hear it. This is escapism, and we're treating it too much like, and we're all trying to play like this. We're all Kramer and Newman playing Risk.
I completely agree. I try to not get involved in, and I have unfollowed so many people through the years when I start seeing these political arguments on either the right or the left. I don't care. That's not my world. I'm in ones and zeros, ons and off. I'm in technology.
Right.
If there's laws, when there are laws surrounding technology, that's when I want to hear from a politician. But if you want to talk about social politics and all those kinds of things, that's not my argument. I don't care. And so to see these content like this, all of a sudden, more political content popping up in people's feeds and people complaining about it, rightfully so.
Yeah,
I agree with you. Why did this all of a sudden happen just because January 20th we had a new person in the White House?
Well, yeah, and that was kind of the culminating event that moved everything over. In the meanwhile, we're just straight up out of time. He's Haggai Davis. Get a full serving of Tech Gumbo Saturdays and Sundays right here on Talk 107.3 FM. Haggai, we'll talk to you next week. Hopefully nice and warm and back in studio.
You bet. See you, Brian.
See you then. We're coming up on Heads Up 7 o'clock at Talk 107.3 FM. ABC News coming your way. Traffic, weather, hour 2 is up next. Good morning, Christy. I don't even know if I said good morning. I don't even know if you're up yet. You shouldn't be. It's cold outside. One of my favorite things right now with with video on TikTok is, and the snowball fights and everything, sleeping alligators. Since they're cold-blooded. Yeah, you can go up and pat an alligator on the nose right now. Pat an alligator on the snout and he's not going to do anything, do you? He's just sleeping. Sleeping alligators. Troy says, go listen to Rogan's podcast with Zuckerberg. I wouldn't call it a right-leaning shift. I'd call it an all opinions welcomed return. That in and of itself is a right-leaning shift. He's got to lean way to the right just to balance out.
It was so painful to watch because he's talking to Joe Rogan about hunting.
Yeah.
And he's trying to explain what kind of bow he uses. And of course, Joe Rogan's a bow hunter. So he's like, what kind of bow do you have? What do you like? He's asking all these. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, dude, just that was so hard.
Stop.
Just stop. It's okay. Like it's,
yeah.
I get it. I understand.
And the amount of tech guys that are in, like, tech bros that are in, like, looking for favor in politics right now. It's like we've entered the brotocracy. Yeah. Is he listening to the show? Is Ray Romero listening to the damn show?
Why you ask that?
Oh, because I made that COVID reference a minute ago, and he said a lot of folks acting like we're still in the pandemic days, not leaving the house. That's not a Ray Romero impression. I don't know. I do a Ray Romano impression.
That's more like Ray Romano. Yeah, man.
That's only directional, not philosophical or ideology, at least on his face.
What?
Huh?
What? What are you talking
I don't know. Who the hell knows? See who was gonna play for you. Seven oh five Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. John LaBeouf producing. We got a busy second hour. We're going to check in with Rodney Mallet in our next segment. Rodney's with DOTD. Get a big old update on everything going on out there. In fact, Joe Donahue with DOTD was at the governor's press conference yesterday. A lot of work's getting done, y'all. Not just here in Baton Rouge, but statewide. This was a winter storm that hit all of us, and all of us, like, on the I-10 corridor, and none of us on the I-10 corridor are prepared for it. We don't have snow plows at the ready. So we'll talk with Rodney Mallet about where we're at as far as the work being done to get us back up and running again. We'll also talk with Lieutenant Don Capola in our Crimestoppers segment. Don's going to be on the hotline as well. Nobody in studio today, doing our level best to keep folks off the roads until we get up above freezing and we can start to thaw out a little bit more. Right now, though, we start you off the second hour at 26 degrees, and we start off with top stories and trending.
Number 5.
47-year-old Daniel Aguilard was arrested for negligent arson after a car crashed into a home on South Sherwood Forest Drive on Saturday. Now, the crash caused no injuries, but did cause $110,000 worth of damage. Aguilard admitted to driving the vehicle. He allegedly claimed he passed out at the wheel due to a medical condition. Baton Rouge Fire Department said Aguilard claimed he fled the scene after a ruptured gas line caught fire and scared him off.
Number 4.
Curbside garbage, recycling, and out-of-cart services will resume in East Baton Rouge Parish today, but will get a later start. In an effort to limit travel in the early morning hours, the city parish made the announcement that they were going to start a little bit later. If an area can't be serviced due to icy roads or time limitations, then that area will be serviced on its next regularly scheduled collection date.
Number 3.
Mississippi River Bridge, the I-10 bridge, the Horace Wilkinson Bridge, a.k.a. the new bridge. It's all the same bridge. Likely is going to reopen today. DOTD made that announcement yesterday. The Atchafalaya and the Bonacare spillways probably going to remain closed until at least tomorrow.
Number 2.
The Baton Rouge Metro Airport announced that their airfield opened yesterday afternoon after Enzo. The airport also welcomed their first arrival, and flight operations getting out will resume this morning. The first departure will be United Airlines to Houston at 7:15 a.m. By the way, we got some great pics of the work that got done to get them back up and running. They're over on our Facebook page if you want to check them out. As moving a lot of snow around, getting it done.
Number 1.
You know what? Because everything is kind of in flux with what roads are open or not, I kind of want to redirect number 1 to promo something that's going on. LSU women's basketball. We're your home for LSU women's basketball right here on Talk 107.3 FM. They're supposed to play tonight at South Carolina, number 5 in the nation versus number 2 in the nation. Going to be a big battle, a big matchup. Well, because of the weather and the travel restrictions during the weather, this game has been postponed. So LSU, Kim Mulkey and her LSU women's Lady Tigers are taking on Dawn Staley and the Gamecocks tomorrow at 4 p.m. Tomorrow at 4 right here on Talk 107.3. What's trending, John?
Well, unfortunately, due to freezing temperatures and heavy snowfall threatening the south, multiple fatalities have been reported due to car crashes and hypothermia.
Hypothermia is in that mix.
Yes.
And then you had 2 folks that died when their house caught fire. We're assuming that had something to do with just trying to stay warm.
Right.
Don't know if it's a space heater or a fireplace or,
There's no telling.
no
right? There's
telling
so
what got
many
out of kilter, but
generators too. I mean, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Especially when you're not used to.
Well, so and fortunately
dealing
with the
with that.
generators, not a whole lot of people lost power,
Right.
which is a great. I mean, if you got
Yes.
you're looking at 90,000 people across the entire swath from, Houston through Florida. 90,000 is not a lot, but if you're in that tiny number, it still sucks.
Oh, absolutely.
And you can run through generator safety all day long and say, make sure it's outside. But man, when you go to pull on that cord, you're going to take that generator outside and pull that cord, you're thinking, I can pull this back into the garage. No, you can't. You got to fight the cold.
That's right. No, absolutely. Hey, regarding the emergency funding that Los Angeles needs after wildfires ravaged 40,000 acres, President Trump suggested a trade-off involving the reconciliation bill he is hoping to get through Congress.
Trade-off of what?
Water.
Water?
Yeah.
I mean, what would happen if we just shoveled all the snow, put it in boxcars, and sent it out west?
Oh man,
is that a thing?
Suggestion. I mean, it could. I mean, technically, it's not impossible.
It's about as good of an idea as everybody taking their hair dryer, plugging it into an extension cord, and spraying it at the street. All great ideas.
Oh goodness. Oh my goodness. Hey, in less political news, Duck Dynasty, the revival, is coming this summer.
Let's
with
go.
21-hour episodes coming. The Robertsons are back on television.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
Okay.
20 1-hour episodes.
1-hour episodes.
When it comes to 1-hour episodes, there are 20 of them.
Yes.
We're not looking at 21-hour episodes.
No.
Okay. For clarification's purposes.
Yep.
That's all but 3 hours of your day is going to be watching Duck Dynasty otherwise.
Yes. Has ordered, A&E has ordered 21-hour episodes in 2 seasons. Yeah. Right out the blocks. They're guaranteed 2 seasons.
Monroe is on an uptick right now, man.
Oh,
Monroe's so hot right now. Hotter than Hansel.
And it's funny that, that's our pastime show as a family.
Oh, really?
We were watching it as they announced it. We're like, oh, look at this. Coming back.
So, love to see them coming back for one thing. And then you add Meta moving in right down the road.
Yeah.
Monroe's on fire right now. Tomorrow morning, I don't have the time written down. I want to say it's going to be 7:45 here, 8:45 in DC. Okay. I got the Mayor of Monroe coming on for tomorrow morning show.
Oh,
so
perfect.
Yeah, with Meta and everything that's happening up there, I didn't even know about Duck Dynasty yet.
Yeah.
But Friday Ellis is his name. So I got Friday coming on Friday. And we're just talking about all things Monroe for a little while. One of the great examples of why Washington Mardi Gras is so great. One of the great examples of why we go every year. One of the great examples of why I'm fighting so hard to get up there this year. Rather than just, bag it. Too much snow, I'm not going. No, we're still going. One of the great examples of why the folks at Rev, Presley Wealth Management, Baton Rouge Metro Airport, and Restore the Mississippi River Delta say, hey, we want to sponsor this content. We go talk with the folks from Monroe. Go talk with the Mayor of Monroe. Have a little sit down there. What y'all got going on? How much is this? And the data center's not in Monroe. It's east of Monroe, but there will be economic impacts as a result of it. I mean, Monroe is going to be the closest Waffle House to this thing. So, and yes, we speak in those terms. Nice. That's coming up tomorrow morning. Of course, Washington Mardi Gras, like I said, brought to you by Rev, Presley Wealth Management, Baton Rouge Metro Airport, and Restore the Mississippi River Delta. Quick break, coming back, talking about our roads. We got Rodney Mallet next.
Yeah, I don't know why. Well, I do know why. I let it slip my mind the first hour, but yeah, I was like, oh, shoot. I mentioned that.
All right, stepping away from my Sadvocate mug. Gonna drink out of my Pelicans glass.
Okay.
Because if I'm traveling, well, shit.
Studio.
Scissors?
Hello, how you doing, sir? Yes, sir. We're actually going to have you on here in just about a minute or two. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I don't have scissors.
Oh man, I don't have a knife either.
And this bad boy won't rip at all.
You have a like pencil or something you can stab through it? Might be able to stab through it.
Ah! Corkscrew.
That
20
works.
into the corkscrew.
Hey, that works.
Ooh, I love that smell. Clumpy.
What is it?
Oh. 716 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. All right. Reopening roads. That's the theme for today. What are we looking at and when? Joining us now from the Department of Transportation is Rodney Mallet. Rodney, how are you this morning?
Doing good, Brian. How about yourself?
I'm very well as well. All right. What's the latest? What's the updates for us?
Well, we've been working through the night. The elevated portions of our roadway, some of them still have ice. Like, let's see, a Atchafalaya Basin Bridge it still has a lot of ice on it. We did hit it with a plow and salt and brine yesterday, and then trying to loosen everything up so this morning we can open up as soon as we can once the sun hits. We have like the Texas to I-49. You can go westbound.
Yes.
But eastbound, there are still some large patches of black ice that we are trying to get rid of that so we can open that all the way to I-49.
Okay.
And then, of course, we're going to be working throughout New Orleans. There are places in New Orleans that still have like 6 inches of ice on the elevated spans down there. So there's still a lot of work to be done. And the best friend that we have today, besides no slight to our good friends from Arkansas who have worked as tirelessly as the men and women we have at DOTD, but our best friend today is going to be the sun.
No, absolutely. And we should get up warm enough for long enough to make a bit of a difference here. Yesterday, did the sun make more of a difference yesterday than expected?
Well, it made a big difference, maybe more than expected or we've seen in the past, because we spent the whole night salting and brining and plowing. So when the sun did its work, it was going to have a easier time than if it was just a big block of ice.
Gotcha.
So the work, and I don't know if you've seen any of our Facebook posts or anything, or any of our videos from our people out plowing, but you could see the conditions that they were working under yesterday. Even though it was warmer and it felt good, some of our bridges were still iced over.
We got Rodney Mallet from DOTD with us. Rodney, I want to pivot over and I need to make sure to save some time to talk about the guys from Arkansas because they're pretty awesome. But those elevated portions here in Baton Rouge, we've got I-110, and we all just expect I-110 is going to stay shut down for a while because it's extended and it's all elevated as well. But man, when I didn't really realize just how much in and around the New Orleans area was elevated, and when you start thinking about it, before you get to New Orleans, you got 310 going over towards the Luling Bridge. Then you got in New Orleans 610 headed out east, and then
Monte Spillway.
Monte Spillway is a big one as well. And then when the interstate splits and you got 90 that goes towards the Crescent City connection, that's elevated there as well. And then you got the entire West Bank Expressway. That's a lot of ground you guys have to cover.
It is. And so when the storm was coming in, it came in, it hit Lake Charles first, and we want to get that east-west corridor. We wanted to keep it open, and we need to get that open as quickly as possible it's a very important freight corridor for the whole country.
Yeah.
And so we have been working from that side of the state over, and we're going to hit New Orleans today. I think I-10 to the airport is one of our priority routes for today. So we're going to be working really hard in the New Orleans area. We have crews working, and who have worked. We still have them I think it's going to warm up a little bit, and then we're going to hit the Chapelai Basin again. The I-10 new Mississippi River Bridge here in Baton Rouge, I think westbound has been pretty well taken care of, and then we have a little work to do eastbound. So we're doing all of that, and then we do have crews down in New Orleans, but once we get the areas I just talked about open, we'll be able to send in the cavalry.
Bringing it back home to Baton Rouge, Mississippi River Bridge expected today. I heard that announcement yesterday. Assuming that's still on schedule, would that mean that 10 in Baton Rouge will be on the same schedule as the Mississippi River Bridge?
That's what we're shooting for. You know, the Mississippi River Bridge is a longer bridge than you think, and it's very wide. And as we were just discussing, the westbound side looks like it's in really good shape. And from what I hear, that when they were treating the eastbound side this morning and last night, they really feel confident that it will be opening early this afternoon, possibly. I got to always put that caveat in there because you never really know with the weather and all. But all things look very positive. Very good,
very good. We got Rodney Mallet on with us from Department of Transportation. All right, let's pivot over and talk about the help that we're getting here, because this crew that came into town, I know when we have the opportunity to help elsewhere, we do, but it feels like when we have to lean on somebody else, you want to make sure that they're recognized. So tell us about this crew from Arkansas.
Well, let me tell you, this is funny. So when we sent our crews to Florida to help them clean up after the hurricanes this year, we had a lot of people call our office and complain that, we shouldn't be doing that. We need to concentrate our people here. And, our thoughts were like, look, we're DOTDs across the country are very close. We all go through the same type of emergency events, and we want to help each other out. So we have sent folks out to help. And Arkansas reached out to us and said, hey, we're not going to get hit with this storm. And we have an abundance of winter weather equipment and knowledge and expertise. Do you need your help? And we couldn't say yes quick enough. And they got down here and they have worked as hard as our men and women at DOTD to get these roads open. You would have thought that they were from Louisiana, as hard as they have worked. And we certainly appreciate all their efforts. But, just having the plows out there, because the snow event is totally different than anything we've ever had.
Right.
And to have those, that equipment and those folks who can move that snow so the salt and brine could work, it's magic. Like yesterday, airline, it was open. It had ice on it, but it wasn't as treacherous as it could have been had it not been for, the team effort between Arkansas and our folks.
And you actually bring me up to another great point there. Rodney Mallet from DOTD is our guest. Talking about airline, let's talk about Florida as well. I was talking with Fred Rayford from DPW yesterday. Walk me through that collaboration and balance between state roads and city roads, and how hard y'all have been working here in Baton Rouge to get more than just the interstates open.
Well, the surface streets, they don't have all the elevation that the interstates do. So when we put out our priority routes, and we work very closely with Fred in the city and all the cities that are going to be impacted, because our priority routes are the US 190, US 61 that are going to be more at grade than the interstate. We do not have to spend the resources to keep those open mainly because of the size of the street and the elevation. So with the work with the city on their side streets and the work of Arkansas and the work of DOTD, we were able to keep our priority routes open throughout this whole event, which was pretty, I'm biased, but I think it's quite impressive considering we had our first ever blizzard. We had, 8 to 12 inches of snow in some areas.
Yep.
You were able to get east and west and north and south in Louisiana the whole time. Now, It wasn't going to be all interstate, and you certainly weren't going to set any kind of speed record. But for essential travel and for the freight folks who need to get from one side of the state to the other, we were able to do that, and it is a team effort. And this event was more of a team effort than anything that we have done before.
We got Rodney Mallet from DOTD for just another couple minutes. Rodney, I want to talk about like a broader picture question here, and I know it's not time to y'all still in the thick of it, so this answer might have to come later. But does a one-off record blizzard affect policy, affect change, affect appropriations? Are we looking at maybe getting in the snowplow market?
Well, it might be too early to say that, but if we would have bought a snowplow the last time we had this much snow back in 1895, it would have sat in the DOTD yard till it might have been used 3 times until this event.
Yeah.
So it's just like my friend has a table saw, and I use it about once or twice, every 2 or 3 years. So I'm not going to run out and buy a table saw when I got one that I can use. You know what I mean? So it is something that we will certainly look at with our after action, meetings and all of that. It's something that we will certainly look at. We certainly see the value, and also the difference between North Louisiana, the I-20 corridor, and the I-10 corridor. There's a big difference. So there might be something where we look to bring those assets in and store them in the northern part of the state, and then use them across the state as we need. But that's something that we are going to have to discuss over the long haul, and I don't think we're going to make any quick judgments on that. And I tell you, I hope we never have to use a plow again, because I don't like the cold weather, and it's been miserable.
No, I know. It is absolutely awful. But I asked the question kind of knowing the answer, and I love the analogy, but I asked the question kind of knowing the answer. But the complaints come in, everybody has the questions. When you're not back up and running at a moment's notice, it's like, well, why aren't we prepared for these things? Well, that's why they're called historic.
Yeah, that's right. Well, and it's funny because we get that all the time. We're the only state that closes for insert whatever, hurricane, ice storm, the first blizzard in history. But a simple Google search of roads closed due to ice, and you see that it's not uncommon in other areas of the nation as well.
Yeah, it's just.
And I'm going to tell you something. I've been watching Weather Channel as well as all our local weather folks, and they had a segment on black ice, and they were showing somewhere, I believe it was in Kentucky, and the road looked great. It was just you could see the pavement and everything, but there was a patch of black ice on that bridge.
Yeah.
And it showed some folks hitting that black ice, and when they did, man, they just slid all over the place. So black ice doesn't care if it's in Louisiana, Kentucky, or wherever. It's going to pose a threat.
No, 100%. And we've seen a bunch of it out there already. Fortunately, the places that I've seen it are in areas where you still got a little bit of frosty snow near it. So, you're taking the precautions and slowing down ahead of time. In the meanwhile, I appreciate a couple minutes this morning. We'll let you get back at it, get back to work out there. Rodney Mallet with DOTD. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate you.
Always. We're coming up on 7:30 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. All right, you've been cooped up in the house for a couple days now. I know it's only the traffic that's absolutely necessary on the roads. But what are you doing for lunch? What are you doing for dinner? I mean, by that time, things might be a little bit more opened up. Now, you're going to want to call first, but after you've cleaned out all the leftovers that were in the fridge and you're done cooking for right now, if you wanted to step out for dinner tonight, if you wanted to step out for lunch today, like I said, call first, but P.F. Chang's is here for you, and they got some of that. Look, I know we all think Cajun food when we think cold weather food, but how about some hot and sour soup, man? How about with P.F. Chang's, they've got the hot and sour, they got the egg drop soup. I'm a hot and sour guy. They've got the egg drop soup. How about some Chang's spicy chicken? I mean, they've got you. Give them a call at 216-9044 before you head out. You don't want to leave the house first, right? You don't want to say, I don't know that they're open back up yet. 216-9044 is the number. But if you're done being cooped up, if it looks like the roads are looking good outside and you're done with your leftovers in the fridge and you need something fresh, you need something delicious, you need that atmosphere that's as warm as the temperature that you're desiring, PF Chang's has got you covered. They're in Town Center, right off of Corporate Boulevard. Look for the look for the snow-covered giant golden horse. We got ABC News coming your way in just a little bit. After ABC News, we will check our local news. After local news, we will check traffic. We'll hit your weather again. Emma Kate Cowan's got that covered. When we come back, as we return to more of our normal scheduled programming, Don Capola's got Crimestoppers coming your way. See if we can't catch some bad guys right now. Also, man, it's been a light couple days when it comes to crime in Baton Rouge. So how can we keep that trend continuing? Don Capola joins us next. Um, where it says Donahue won at 7:55, we're gonna switch that to Jay Grimes. $50 says he added that after hearing you.
I wonder. Studio. Hey, good morning, sir. I'm doing well. How about you? I was gonna say, you staying warm out there or what? Yeah, I can hear you. You're good. Yeah, you're coming in good. Well, all right. Well, look, we'll have you up here. I don't know, about 2 or 3 minutes. No, you're good. Yeah, be about 3. Yeah, give us about 3 minutes or so. All right. Thank you.
Time to get to thawing. Here's our forecast from Emma Kate Cowan. No. Hmm. 737 Talk 1073 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We are starting off your Thursday morning at 26 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. As you heard from Emma Kate, we're on our way to 50 before it's all said and done today. Crimestoppers coming your way in exactly 60 seconds. Got to remind you about the folks over at Vex European, Vex with a V. Vinny and his team have been open running things over at Vex European for a decade now. They're celebrating their 10th anniversary over at Vex European. That's 10 years worth of service. That's 10 years worth of know-how. That is 10 years worth of expertise. If you own a European vehicle, hit up vexeuropean.com. You bought that car for a reason. Performance and longevity. I mean, there's the equation that gives you the ROI on your European vehicle that you're looking for. Performance and longevity. In order to make the most out of both, you need someone to take care of the car who knows what they're doing. Well, that's where Vex European comes in. They have that level of expertise. They have that level of expert knowledge. Hit the little vehicles tab at vexeuropean.com. Hit the little drop-down menu. See if your car's up there. If your make is up there, they've got you covered. Then go hit the specials tab and see if you can't save some money in your first visit. Start it off, though, at vexeuropean.com. All right. Time for Crimestoppers. Yes, it's time for Crimestoppers, and yes, we welcome in Lieutenant Don Capola on the hotline. Don, how are you, man?
Hey, good morning, Brian. How are you?
I'm doing well. Just bundled up here in the studio, doing the normal Thursday show. I know you and I shouldn't even be talking right now. I should
But I'm
be.
glad we are talking. I'm glad you reached out yesterday. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in the studio this morning. But hopefully next week.
Yeah, no, definitely next week. And yeah, no, I completely understand. I'm not asking anybody to get out on that ice. No. We can handle things telephonically. That works
And I
just
was
fine.
listening to the weather report with Emma Cade, and she mentioned high in the 40s. And when have the 40s sounded so good?
I know, right? Break out the short sleeves. Oh, I mean, comparatively speaking, that's awesome. But yeah, I was supposed to be at Washington Mardi Gras right now,
Yes.
up at the Washington Hilton, and weather doing its thing. We are stuck here for right now. Going to be hopefully flying out this afternoon. Hopefully flying out this afternoon and landing. Um, Landing late in the evening. Uh, that being said,
Well,
the weather had different plans,
safe
so
travels.
we're here. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, safe
Um,
travels.
the weather didn't just call off a whole bunch of flights. The weather also called off a whole lot of crime. Don, it gets quiet around a blizzard, doesn't it?
It has gotten quiet for now, and we, you only hope that it can stay this way. And looking back in other storms and other natural disaster events, you see this trend. But another thing you notice, Brian, is that people come together.
Yes.
Okay, you look back years ago with the flood, the different hurricanes we've had. Now we're having this historic snow, and people, for the most part, are putting differences aside, and they're helping one another get through this, and that's what we like to see.
Absolutely. Yes. 100%. Now, that being said, Don, sadly, there's a shelf life on that as well. It's like there's a ticking clock.
Unfortunately, there is, and I want the listeners to know, even though things are the way they are, Crimestoppers, we still have bad guys we're looking for, people who have committed crimes prior to this, and I'm sure crimes will be committed even after this. But we don't stop, and we want that information to continue to come into us. So once the weather finally gets back to some type of normalcy, investigators can get out and continue those investigations.
We're talking with Lieutenant Don Capola. This is Crimestoppers. 344-STOP is their phone number. 344-STOP. And yeah, the number always open, even if the weather is bad around these times. When you're locked up in the house, when you got no place to go, Don, why not scroll through a couple of photos over on y'all's Facebook page, see if you can't familiarize yourself with a few of the people y'all are looking for. So let's dive in and do that.
Absolutely. So we're going to start off in Iberville Parish with a Gervada Lewis. Gervada Lewis. This is, and you may have seen this. Investigators believe this is a murder for hire investigation. Lewis is wanted on second-degree murder, solicitation for murder, criminal conspiracy, aggravated burglary, and obstruction of justice. We talk about how Crimestoppers is not just this area, not just the U.S., but worldwide. So investigators believe that Lewis may have some ties in the Edwards, Mississippi area. My understanding that's around the Jackson corridor somewhere. So we have reached out to our Crimestopper partners in Mississippi, made them aware of this. They actually shared our Facebook page and have eyes and ears, also assisting in the search for the whereabouts of Lewis.
Run me down that list of charges again.
Second-degree murder, solicitation for murder, criminal conspiracy, aggravated burglary, and obstruction of justice.
Wow. I mean, that is a lot going on there.
It's a lot going on. He's 32 years old. And again, investigators have information that he's back and forth between Louisiana and Mississippi. So, it's just anybody with information, of course, we want that information to get it to investigators, both here and there. So, Mr. Lewis could be apprehended.
Yeah, Lewis's picture is up on the Capital Region Crimestoppers Facebook page. You got to scroll down a little bit. Get back to the post was about a week ago, January 15th. But you definitely have his picture right there. 344-STOP is the phone number if you have any information on Javada Lewis, or of course, if you see him out and about, the P3 app is unbelievably valuable. Take a picture, take some video, and submit it there. Either way, you are 100% anonymous, 100% anonymous. And like Don always says, you could be eligible for a cash reward there as well.
Exactly. And Crimestoppers pays once a month. And today is that day that we're going to coordinate payday. So even with the snow, once conditions get a little warmer, as McKay mentioned, and the ice melts, we don't stop, and we want our tipsters to know that we appreciate what they do and keeping their anonymity, but we're going to follow up on our part as well and make sure they get what they deserve for the information and the assistance in searching and identifying these suspects.
We're looking for anybody else today?
Yeah, we are looking for Baton Rouge Police Department is looking for an Ennis Jones. Ennis Jones, 36 years old, on the charge of battery of a dating partner, strangulation. Investigators believe that Jones and the victim have known each other for some while now. We're actually in a relationship. For whatever reason, the victim decided to call it off. Well, it appears that Jones was not ready to hear that. Actually placed her in a headlock, struck her in the face several times with a closed fist. And this is something, Brian, we talk about time and time again, is domestic violence. And so anyone with information on Ennis Jones, 36 years old, contact us at 344-7867 or the P3 Tips app, so we can have Ennis Jones taken into custody.
Yeah, it seems that we can't go too long without having the domestic violence rear its ugly head once again.
So, but we appreciate everybody. We've looked over the post and over our 8 Parish area, the snow, and everybody seems to enjoy themselves. But again, if you don't have to be out, please don't be out. I know Ascension Parish posted early this morning some vehicles that struck what appeared to be ice patches, and they ended up off the roadway. Luckily, everybody was okay in that. But again, if you don't have to be out, don't be out. I know some of our businesses, local businesses, are opening up this afternoon.
Yes.
But just remember, to leave early, take your time, because you never know what obstruction you may have on that roadway.
Yeah, 100%. 100% is precaution is worth all of it right there. And yeah, if you don't have to be, don't be, obviously. But I mean, as they're continuing to get work done, we heard from DOTD in our last segment, as they continue to get work done, and they're doing miraculous work right now. It's still precaution needs to lead the way.
Absolutely, and people are abiding by these cautions. And I know some of our parishes had issued curfew. I don't believe that Mayor Edwards did, because everybody is abiding by these regulations as far as just stay put and enjoy the time with your family and loved ones.
Well, Don, Mayor Edwards was on with us on Tuesday evening, and I asked him about the curfew question, and he was very straightforward with his answer, saying, among other things, we already have a shortage of police officers, and anybody breaking curfew is going to be someone that the police officers are going to have to, track down and ticket or figure out, what's going on. And likely those people who would be breaking curfew are doing so for a reason. They have they're a first responder. They work in a hospital. They work in a plant. They're probably not doing anything wrong. So why would you not want to take all your police officers for, real crimes? Make sure you're utilizing those resources to the best of their ability, as opposed to saying someone's out when they're not supposed to be out. So now I got to chase them down. And now we have 2 people on the icy roads instead of just the 1.
Exactly. It makes perfect sense.
He is Lieutenant Don Capola. We'll be back in studio next week. We'll see you then.
All right, Brian. Thank you and safe travels.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. Hoping for it. Appreciate you, Don. Talk to you soon. It is coming up on 750 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. We're gonna break for your money now. We're gonna check traffic. Yesterday at Governor Jeff Landry's press conference, Jay Grimes, our state's meteorologist, was called upon to talk about the snow event. Historic would be the right word to use. We'll hear him elaborate, pull some audio from that press conference next. I'm gonna go rinse this out. I have taken my emergency. Should be immune to everything on that plate. COVID, flu. 7:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Still at 27 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. Hopefully on the way to 50. If we can make 50, that'd be really, really, really strong number for today as things continue to thaw. We heard from Rodney Mallet 2 segments ago about the work that's being done, getting things back open again. The Mississippi River, the new bridge, the Horace Wilkinson, the I-10 bridge. That one's in the works for today. That's that one they are working hard to get back open again today. That is a major, major thoroughfare, not just for us, but nationally. So they're working on that one right now. Bonacare Spillway is in the works as well, though they're not. Rodney said, they're aiming for that one today, but there might be a few more hang-ups as just in getting it unfrozen and back to normal. So this is all coming after a storm that was historic. Historic is the word for it. In fact, our state's meteorologist, Dr. Jay Grimes, was in the governor's press conference yesterday and talked about just the historic nature of what we saw on Tuesday and then again last night.
When we talk about snow for South Louisiana, this was the biggest snowstorm in more than 100 years. Get that bearing there, more than a lifetime in terms of duration. And how about those temperatures earlier this morning? 6 degrees in Lake Charles, 4 in Lafayette, 7 for the low in Baton Rouge. In terms of those temperatures, the coldest morning in more than 100 years. So you have these 2 unique events that come together. We've never seen anything like that before in the entire record for Louisiana. This is, or has been, the biggest, most significant winter storm event for South Louisiana we've ever seen.
And therein is the word historic. I mean, we've never seen this before. So recovery from it, reopening from it, there is no scale. There's no real comp here to say how fast should we be back out on the roads again. There's nothing to point at and say, well, we did it like this in 1993 and we did it like this in 2004. No, we haven't dealt with this literally ever. So the the thawing today will hopefully continue. And then, by tomorrow, the crazy part is by tomorrow, this will all be a memory. Like after tomorrow, once everything's opened back up again, you pack the snowplows back up on the big rig and send it back up to Arkansas. Then it'll all be a big memory. So, all right, we got news coming up in just a little bit. Do need to remind you about the folks over at Mathern's. 10 o'clock this morning. I have confirmation on this one. 10 o'clock this morning, Mathern's is opening back up again at the campus location over there on LSU's campus. Also, they'll be downtown as well. Love telling you about Mathern's throughout the carnival season because they've got you covered from every base out there. Okay, first of all, you want to be the hero and bring the king cake into work, right? Yes, we all do. So that everybody can say, oh no, I can't have another king cake. And then of course they have a piece of king cake, right? So you got that. They got you covered on the king cake front. They got the huge display in there. They got the traditional king cake. They got the filled king cake. They got the fancy king cake. Do the Cookie Monster. Trust me, you're welcome. Then when it comes time for the Mardi Gras balls, they've got you covered there too. Need to order a tray of food to bring to, you can get a simple sandwich tray, sure, or you can up your game and bring boudin balls, chicken fingers. They've got more than 50 trays to choose from at matherns.com. And then when it comes parade time, nestled between 3rd and 4th Street, in between Main and Laurel, they're right there on the dead gum route. I mean, when the parade comes up, you know how they do on the downtown route, right? The parade will come up Spanish Town Road and then turn on North 4th, and then we'll head over towards North Street. Mathern's is like a block away. So whatever you forgot to bring once it's time to hit Orion, once it's time to hit Artemis, they've got you covered at Mathern's. Downtown on 3rd Street. Don't forget about Nicholson Drive across from Tiger Stadium. It's Mathern's. 30 more seconds was all I needed to hold out. 30 more seconds without coughing would have been great. Oh, Nelly, Nelly. Oh, my word.
Rough.
Yeah, I'm just wiped out. Eight oh six Talk 1073 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Heads up, later on this hour, we're going to play a little game. Do a little open phone line game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Little game called Hey, I'm Open.
Yeah.
We're not doing it right now. Don't call right now. 499-1073 as we put things back together in Baton Rouge and start reopening back up. Yesterday we didn't want anybody. Nobody wanted anybody on the roads, right? Well, today there's going to be more people on the roads, and today there's going to be people that have need, for sure. You may have run out of things at the house, and there's a matter of necessity, right? Well, rather than have you leave your home and just wander aimlessly around ice-covered roads in Baton Rouge, I'd like to know if where you're going, they're open. Then you could just go directly there and directly home, minimizing your time where you're exposed to the elements. So coming up at 8:35, we're going to do a little segment called Hey, I'm Open. It's basically just a free commercial, right? But we're here for you. We're here for you, Baton Rouge, as we continue to thaw out. I'm so cold. Even in here, John.
Even with the heater.
Even in here with the World War II space heater, which I think is dying because it's not nearly as strong as it has been in the past.
Yeah.
Or maybe the fight that it's got to go up against is that much worse. I don't know. Oh, so cold. We have this day in history. I haven't done this day in history in the last 2 days. So
you ready for it?
I mean, yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, let's roll.
All
right,
right.
man. Tell me what happened.
Taking it back to 1789, Georgetown, the first U.S. Catholic college, is founded. That day.
Unbelievably gorgeous campus.
Yeah?
Yep.
Nice.
Summer 2021, the Haldane tribe went to Washington, D.C. for our summer vacation. Walked around Georgetown's campus. The buildings are just so beautiful.
Yeah.
We call it Gothic style, just so gorgeous. And here's the thing, though. So the bulldog, the Hoya, the mascot.
Okay.
We're just walking around campus, stumbled upon the mascot. There he was. This girl's walking a bulldog, and I'm like, that'd be something if that was the mascot. And she goes, oh, no, he is. I'm in the vet school. I'm like,
Awesome.
look at that.
Very cool
How
stuff.
cool is that? There's a picture somewhere on Facebook of the Haldanes huddled around this, so ugly and so cute bulldog.
Bulldogs are the best, man.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I want a French bulldog. Ugh, that's a dog. You know
Now,
what I'm saying?
here's another thing. Right around the corner from Georgetown is the house where The Exorcist was filmed.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And then about half a block from there are the stairs where spoiler alert, the stairs where the priest was thrown down.
What a what a location, right?
Right? Well,
That's
here's the thing,
insane.
though. You can't get to those stairs from the window he was thrown out of.
Yeah.
So a little movie magic happened there. But it's all within the same block right there. So, yeah.
Very
all in a
fascinating.
row. Pictures of the Haldanes with the bulldog, and then pictures of the Haldanes on the Exorcist stairs. In
Oh,
hindsight,
my
we should have done like a pose, like we got thrown down the stairs.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, didn't do that.
Oh my goodness. Hey, 1889, Daniel Hale Williams forms the Provident Hospital in Chicago, the first non-segregated hospital in the U.S.
Okay.
That happened today. 1973, U.S. President Richard Nixon announces an accord has been reached to end the Vietnam War. I know I was so tongue-tied there. Speaking of Richard Nixon, in 1981, the first Richard Nixon Museum opens in San Clemente, California. So that happened. Hey, 2 years later, look what we got here. 1983, the TV series The A-Team premieres on NBC.
Were you an A-Team guy?
I was going to ask you the same thing.
Yes.
It was a little bit
yes,
before my time, just several years before, but yeah. Of course, Mr. T. Did you care for the remake? Did you watch it? I didn't watch it either.
No.
Bradley Cooper and I forget what else they had in there.
Yeah.
It just
No.
kind of
It's
went under the radar for me.
Hannibal, BA, Face,
Yeah.
Murdoch. I was an old school A-Team guy for sure.
Oh, nice.
I'll tell you this. I had the A-Team lunchbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, to still have that, huh?
I wish.
Oh,
I wonder what was that go for?
even if not for the sake of money, you know, just the sake of nostalgia, just to have that, right?
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's worth a lot.
Let's see. There's a vintage. Oh, that's the plastic one. I had the metal one. And
Even
with
better.
with the plastic thermos. Here we go.
Even better.
Yeah. Let's see if we can put a value on it. You keep going. I'll keep digging this
Hey,
up.
speaking of value, 2017, the most expensive house in the U.S. with a net worth of $250 million goes on the market in Bel Air, Los Angeles.
Okay.
Wonder if it's still standing today. Oof. Something to think about, right?
All right. There's one on eBay for $140.
Okay.
The metal lunchbox.
Okay.
All right.
Not bad.
That's the one I had with BA with Mr. T throwing the punch.
Love it.
Give him that dosed glass of milk so he'll fly.
Hey, check this out. 2020, the voice of a 3,000-year-old Egyptian priest was recreated by scientists 3D printing. They actually 3D printed his vocal tract and it was published in Scientific Reports.
Really?
Insane, like technology.
Very much so.
My gosh. Anything else today?
No, let's go to birthdays.
All right, let's do it. Starting off with the first person to sign the Declaration of Independence, Mr. John Hancock. Sorry.
Okay.
Let's see who else we got here. Do you have any more aside from
Birthdays?
Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
I got Joseph Hughes here, also signer of Declaration of
know
Declaration of Independence. Actress Tiffany Amber Thiessen
Oh, all right.
as well.
Let's see. On
So
the sports,
tongue-tied this morning. What is going on?
I
here?
don't know, man. I
Is
don't
it the
know.
cold? Is it just like
It could be the
It's like-
cold. We can blame the cold for sure.
Ooh.
There's not a whole lot on the sports front, at least not recently. Oh, you know what? No. We got a former LSU Tiger right here. We got a Hall of Famer and a Hall of Famer in the NFL.
Okay.
Kevin Mawai. Kevin Mawai's birthday today.
Hey.
And who else in the world of sports do we have as their birthday? I've got no, that one's really it. That's the only one worth noting on the birthday front from the sports world. Getting back to some of the other birthdays, though, we had. Man, you're right. There's not a whole lot here.
Right.
Edward Monte, the painter.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Or if he's top shelf, then we're reaching.
We are reaching.
Can't get hotter than Monte.
Hey, moving on to deaths here.
Now we got a lot of them.
Yes. Starting off, let's see, Johnny Carson. I have.
Yep.
Speaking of show hosts, Larry King as well.
Yep.
Let's see, anybody on your end?
Also, speaking of show hosts, Captain Kangaroo
Oh, wow.
died on this
Okay.
day in 2004. Ferdinand, King of Spain, died on this day in Ferdinand II, I should say, in 1516. We had. I'm scrolling back up now. I apologize. I'm not as prepped as I should be.
No, you're good. And like I said, today in birthdays and deaths, it's a little reaching. It's a little reaching.
Wait, who did you say? You said Larry King?
I did say Larry
Yeah,
King.
that's what I thought.
Yep.
Salvador Dali was the other one that I had.
Yeah. As far as national days go, this is really fascinating, Brian. Snowplow Mailbox Hockey Day.
Of course.
Did you read up on this? It
No.
allows for this is a day where snow plowmen, in honor of them, they're allowed to hit mailboxes and they get points for it. That's insane. What are we doing? What are we doing? Plowers are given a clear shot at taking down as many mailboxes as they can while snow plowing on the streets. The greater the number of mailboxes taken down, the more points they score.
No, I don't like it.
That's insane.
Veto. It's 8:15. Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. We're running a little bit long here. Baton Rouge Fire Department has been super active these last couple of days. A lot of calls coming in. Let's talk about that with Kurt Monte from the fire department next. Sagrera Farms posted up some pictures of their cows yesterday.
Yeah.
Were you producing when Sagrera Farms came in? The dude that fired up the grill in the parking lot?
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
They posted up some pictures of their cows yesterday. So I commented that first picture needs to be titled Cold Cuts. Because the cows had like snow on their
Yeah,
backs and
of
whatnot.
course, yeah.
Cold Cuts. I'll show myself out. Oh, man. Were you here when were you here when Fred came on the first time and talked about the makeshift snowplows? Was that on Monday or Tuesday?
That was on Monday. Yeah, that was on Monday when yeah, because I sent you the clip.
I had him on yesterday. He's like, I heard you making fun of me.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Like, it's not making fun.
It's
celebrating
golden.
who we
Yeah,
are.
right.
It's
It's not-
celebrating who we
right.
we only roast the ones we love.
right.
818 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We are up to 29 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. Oh man, each degree is valuable right now. I mean, as we tick up towards that freezing point, get above that freezing point, we cannot overstate the value of that to help us thaw out. The folks that have been working on the roads have been unbelievably busy. Just as busy though has been the Baton Rouge Fire Department. Joining us now is Kurt Monte. Kurt, good morning. How are you, sir?
Hey, good morning, Brian. Y'all staying warm?
As best we can, man. I don't know if it's we get this little space heater, which we're abiding by all of those safety regulations there, but it's pumping. It's doing its hardest. It's doing its best, but man, it's a struggle to keep up for sure. So, how about yourself?
Yeah, doing well, doing well. We're still activated here at the Mayor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. We run an extra squads. We're actually meeting this morning. Our command staff is going to make a decision whether we lower some of that manpower now that the roads are starting to get a little better. But, the important thing is for people to know that, that it's not over. Don't get complacent. We still got some cold spells coming through. Tonight's going to be below freezing again. It's the same warnings. It's the same safety message. If you're using those heating appliances, keep them 3 feet away from anything will burn. Keep your children and pets away. Working smoke detectors, working carbon monoxide detectors, and have an escape plan. Have a plan for your family.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can't. An ounce of prevention is worth well more than a pound of cure in a time like this. I want to circle back on that MOSEP part in just a little bit. But can we start specifically with the Baton Rouge Fire Department, because y'all have been super busy? The nature of the calls, has it been more than usual because of where the temperatures have been? I mean, I know when it gets cold, we see a number of calls come in, but has that been exacerbated by this storm?
I don't know if I'd use the term exacerbated. We've made the number of calls are pretty much in rhythm with what we have, with just the type of calls. We've seen an increase, obviously, in the medical side of the slips, the falls, the broken hips, the elbows, those type of things, from people walking out, not realizing the ice is slick and falling down. We've had 5 house fires here in the city. Fortunately, none of those were actually related to heating appliances or misuse of heating appliances. They were accidental in nature. I think a few of them were some electrical issues. Did have some vacant house fires. I think 2 of them were, those are under investigation to see if there was a human factor involved. But for the most part, we think the public has kind of heeded the warnings and the safety messages, and they're doing a really good job. We just don't want people to get complacent and think that it's over.
Yeah, complacency can be our biggest enemy. Not just complacency, Kurt, but just the boredom of it. You look at the same 4 walls for going on a 4th day now, because nobody knew on Martin Luther King Day back on Monday, when they're just hanging out inside, that it was going to get this bad on Tuesday to keep you in on Wednesday and Thursday.
No, I mean 100%. I get it. You get bored, like you said. You want to get out. You want to go sightseeing. It's just not recommended. If you don't need to be out on the roads, we don't want folks to get out on the roads. Although some of the neighborhood and the surface streets are looking better from out your front door, you still have those bridges and roadways across the parish that have that ice on them. I think I just saw an alert by one of our media partners. They have a pileup in Denham Springs. There's a several car pileup in that way, so they can get away from you really quick. Just because you don't see it, they talk about the black ice. You can't see it, and then before you know it, you're in a situation you don't want to be in.
100%. We're talking with Kurt Monte from the Baton Rouge Fire Department. Okay, so 5 house fires over the last day or so, or I guess since the beginning of this. What you said, it doesn't seem, 2 of them look like they're being investigated for arson. What stacks up and goes into that? I mean, there's some telltale signs that y'all look for.
Yeah, 100%. You go, first of all, when you respond, you see that the home is supposed to be vacant. There's no power or electricity to the home. So our investigators look for what could be competent heat sources, what could cause it. And when you don't have power to a home, when you don't have a gas meter on a home, it starts taking out those factors that can happen, like a short or something else that could cause that. So you start looking at human factor and who was there and things. So it's a, arson is a very, very hard thing to prove, obviously, because a lot of your evidence burns up. But here in the city of Baton Rouge, we have 5 investigators that are top notch. I put them up against anybody. Their clearance rate is in the 30 percentile, when I think the average across the country is in the teens. So those guys work hard every day, and they do a very good job.
As for the other fires, and yeah, always want to give them the appreciation that's so well deserved. As for the other fires, what did we see as far as causes? Was it a matter of like a space heater type of incident, or using the oven as a heater type of thing?
Yeah, nobody, no fires that have been related to misuse of those heating appliances or other appliances in your home as of now. We had 2 of them that were electrical in nature, and both of those buildings or houses had recently had some electrical work done. So, they're looking at that. Maybe there was something there that shorted out. I know the building over at St. Anthony on that campus had some open wiring where they had recently had some work done, and maybe, we're thinking maybe somebody thought that wiring was disconnected and it wasn't, and an arc caused that fire, from what our investigators are saying. So nothing related to heating appliances or misuse at this point in time. Again, Brian, it's not over. We want people to stay, pay attention to what you're doing, keep your family safe in your home and businesses, and hopefully we can get through this.
Couple minutes left with Kurt Monte from the Baton Rouge Fire Department. Let's bring it back around to MOSEP. From the outside looking in, when you deal with a hurricane, we know what to expect from MOSEP. What's been different about this time because of the nature of the emergency? How have things been handled?
So wonderful.
Yeah.
Mayor Edwards came in, hit the ground running. He's 2 weeks or just starting his 3rd week and gets a blizzard. So it's kind of he hit the ground running. He's looking at how this is interacting. He's interjected his ideas. He has a big heart. He wants to take care of the people of East Baton Rouge Parish, and he's shown that through this. So, all the same partners are here. You have all your public safety agencies. You have your public works department, which I consider a true first responder also. And you have some of your volunteer groups in the hospitals and things like that. So we all work together. We're in the same room. We call it the war room. And that way, when something goes down, we can look across and do a face-to-face, and we know the needs. We know what needs to happen. And we have a plan. Just like we tell people at home, have a plan. We have a plan here. And, our playbook works, and we put it together, and we're very proud of the work that's done out of this building.
Kurt Monte with the Baton Rouge Fire Department. Okay, we're not in the clear just yet, but in all likelihood, I mean, is it we're looking towards probably tomorrow?
Yeah, we're gonna monitor very closely to what happens. A lot of that depends on from where we go with our roadways, our interstate systems, those type things. Mm-hmm. We do know from a fire department standpoint, even though we may deactivate at some point here as in Homeland Security, we still have those concerns for our citizens out there and the lower temps and those type things. So we play it by ear. Right now, we've been getting through pretty well, but we want people to pay attention.
Yeah, I just a little bit longer is all we need, and then we should be okay. In the meanwhile, I appreciate your availability this morning. I appreciate the information. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you. Absolutely. Yeah, it's just today's gonna be the hard day to stay home. I can see that coming. As folks are probably, like we said, been home since before this started. I mean, how many people on Monday said, well, this is what's coming on Tuesday, so I better get out of the house now, right? How many people made a mad dash to the grocery store? Or no, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. How many people didn't make the mad dash to the grocery store to stock up on Monday before this hit on Tuesday and need to get back out again? That's a lot of it's going to be understandable. A lot of folks on the road, it's going to be, we get it. So take the precautions you need while you're out there. Don't drive like a crazy person. Keep it slow, keep it moving, keep it slow. The flip side of that coin is where you're going. How do you know where you're going? Or I should say, how do you know they're going to be open when you get there? Coming up in our next segment, let's have a little fun. Let's do a little something we're going to call, hey, we're open. You give us a call at 499-1073, 499-1073. We'll just shout out your business, where you're located, and what your hours are today as we get things back up and running again. We want to make sure that if folks are leaving their house, and we're encouraging you, if you can stay home, please do. But if you're leaving your house, you don't want to just be wandering aimlessly all over the city. So if someone could say, hey, we're open, we'll do that for you right here on Talk 107.3 FM. We got 1 minute till we hit news. Within that minute, got to remind you about the folks over at Parish Construction and Roofing. ParishBuilt.com is the website, ParishBuilt.com. Looking up at my roof yesterday. I was outside yesterday. Actually tried to get in a little bit of a run/walk/slide on black ice as much as possible without breaking my neck. And as I'm coming back to the house, man, I put my eyes up on that roof. So gorgeous. I could not be a happier customer than I am right now with the folks from Parish Construction and Roofing. 364-1007 is the phone number, 364-1007, or do like I did. ParishBuilt.com is the website. ParishBuilt.com. You go to the website, you fill out the little form. They come out, they get up on your roof, they take some high-def pictures, they show you what you got. They let you know, well, you need some repair or you need a whole new roof. I needed a whole new roof. So from there, they take it. I worked with Zach pretty much the entire time. Every step along the way, he let me know, well, here's what the insurance adjuster is actually telling you. And our insurance was great too. But that's because Zach had the lead, right? I was left with nothing unexplained, nothing unanswered, nothing that I had questions about on the back end, all the way through the process. From adjustment to installation to final payment, ParishBuilt.com is the website. Do business with someone you know. Parish Construction and Roofing. We'll continue next. What was that?
That was Jim with Hi Neighbor saying that all locations are open until 8 p.m. tonight.
He didn't want to hold?
I guess not. No. Okay. Do you want him? Do you want him on the air?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
I shouldn't be speaking on behalf of a different grocer. So. Yeah. Got another house fire. Just came across. 3211 Hollywood Street. All right. Yo, I'll be back in like 10 seconds. Hang tight. Oh, don't start the clock yet. On that 10 seconds.
What? Oh. Dude, he's definitely listening to this show. Studio. VCA Animal Hospital is open today.
Have
you
them
wanna
hold.
go?
Yeah, have them hold for a minute
Do
so
you
they
wanna
can tell
hold
their story. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Hey,
Yo, we're keeping it closed because this little guy, he's trying so hard. He's trying so hard. Yeah.
struggling, man.
But I mean, he's in his 90s.
I'm sorry. Can I have your name one more time? Okay.
Just first name, yeah.
Yes.
All right, so you got me covered. I'll get Carrie to bring me
No
over to your
problem.
house.
Thank
Okay.
you. Give me 1 second.
Unless, are you coming from here? I didn't even know you were coming in today.
Yeah, like I got your text like as I was like halfway here.
Okay.
I got on 12 and realized that I couldn't get past the airline. So I
Yeah.
had to get off and then
So, I mean, because if you're going to be up here, I can run home, grab my bags, and come back.
but if you'd rather leave your car at your house, then that's no problem.
Honestly, I would rather leave my car here because I'm parked on frozen tundra at my house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it doesn't matter.
Is
I
it
can
my
go
mind?
back to the house and then we can meet up there or whatever. I probably got to get some lunch at some point before, so I'll plan it out. Either I'll go home and do that or, yeah, I can. I mean, honestly, most of what I can do today can be done from home.
Yeah.
So like I can get done everything I need to, and then if you want to meet me back up here.
Okay, I'll meet you back up here then.
Okay.
John, just for future reference, on days when the office is closed, park over here.
I
The car's back there.
I-
That has had, because it's in between
Yeah.
our building and the church, so it gets like 10 minutes of sunlight a day.
But that's
Right.
what I was wondering, like T-Bob Park. I'm like, how would you even drive on that street? That's a
Oh, that one?
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Right now, he's
downhill.
parked back there?
And
Not
it's
in-
downhill.
Oh,
It's downhill. Like I was.
I hit the
was
emergency
like-
brake on, but that might not stop anything
I
if it
was
just so
driving
happens
through
to.
my neighborhood,
Right.
Leaving my neighborhood, there's little patches of like ice and snow mix, and then nothing, and ice and snow mix. And whenever I'd cross one, I could feel it going. I just let off the brake because I feel it just. Much less doing that when there's been no sun.
What's this person's first name?
Jill.
Jill.
With VCA Hospital. Yeah, I thought about it. It's out of habit. It's just funny that I just go back there. Probably the other guys
Where'd you
too.
park? In the back
Oh
there?
yeah, right behind here.
Oh, okay, yeah. Put the park brake on.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
I did, but I was like, I don't know if that'll. It should help, even if it is.
Man, Homer got quite a bit of snow too.
Man, and Dularge, they got a good bit too. Man, I was surprised.
Like,
My cousin sent me my grandparents' house down there.
I mean, like,
I'm surprised they even went down there. That's insane.
like what you see. I was thinking about this on the way in. What you see out there right now is what we would normally get and call. Man, we had a bunch of snow. What's
Yeah,
out there right now is what we would get and call. Man, we had a blizzard. We had a man. It snowed its butt off.
dude, that's my grandparents'
it
house.
was-
Down the back. That's their little. This is their.
You can't
driveway.
even see the grass. You know what I mean?
No,
Like, you,
and their
normally
house is
you
on
see the little
pylons.
grass, coming up.
That's their house on Pylons in the
That
back.
Cypress Street was
Wait.
awesome.
Yeah, it looks like an amazing view, but
A lot of those houses are raised too. Those pipes.
oh,
by, you
so
know
that's
I
what
mean?
I'm worried about too. Underneath their house.
It's all clearing and like all the air gets in there. Yeah, just
Yeah,
like that.
stuff. Yeah. All that stuff's exposed underneath. Oof.
My sister's house is like that.
She still stays at home.
All right, well, I'll be upstairs.
Hang out. Hang out, because if this doesn't get a whole lot of calls, the three of us can just BS about our snow experiences. 8:37 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Going to get your forecast in just a second, but get those calls coming in. Playing a little game we're going to call. Hey, we're open. As folks are as Baton Rouge starts to thaw out, we don't want to be driving around aimlessly. So before we know where we're going, before we leave the house, we got to know where we're going, and we want to find out that they're going to be open when we get there. I believe we got Jill up first. Jill, welcome to Talk 107.3. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Good morning.
Good morning. Who's open?
VCA All Pets Animal Hospital is open and ready to serve the pets of Baton Rouge.
VCA All Pets Animal Hospital. Where are you located?
We're located on Perkins Road near Bluebonnet, 9308 Perkins Road.
9308 Perkins Road. You are open as of now, not posted up for a later time?
Well, we have a crew there now,
Okay.
and we'll have a full staff by noon, but we do have a doctor out on the premises.
Okay. Hey, can you answer a question for me?
Sure.
Why is it half the dogs love to go play in the snow and the other half refuse to go outside to potty?
I think the ones that refuse to go have more human, characteristics.
Spoiled, as it were, huh?
Yeah, there you go.
VCA Animal
Yeah.
Hospital on Perkins is open. So if you need
Thank
them,
you.
they're here for you. Absolutely, Jill. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you calling in. 499-1073. Hey, we're open. So I was told that who called in, John, that couldn't stay on hold?
Oh, it was Mr. Jim over at High Neighbor saying all locations are open till 8 p.m.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
So they're covered. If you know your closest location for them, they've got you covered. Of course, we're going to recommend you go to Mathern's. If you're downtown,
Yeah.
if you're near LSU's campus, that's just personal preference right there. But look, if you're out Airline Highway, if you're in Broadmoor, you got that High Neighbor right there in the back of Broadmoor. You don't need to be out on the road that whole time. Just swing on in, swing on out. So let us know if you're open. 499-1073. We will take your calls if you so choose to participate, or maybe you're not open yet and we're a day early on this little game. That's possible too. Hey, before while we wait to see if anybody else is calling, let's go ahead and get you that forecast here, because as you've heard repeatedly throughout the morning, we're not done yet. We're not out of the woods as far as the freezing temperatures are concerned. It's going to freeze again tonight. That being said, not nearly as bad as what we've been seeing. Today's high going to get up to 50 degrees. We should be above freezing before the end of this hour, and we should stay above freezing until about 10 p.m. tonight. That's a good long stretch for things to thaw out there. After we get below freezing tonight, we're going to get down to about 28 degrees. Tomorrow's high, 50 again with an overnight low of 27. Saturday, we'll get up to 60 with an overnight low of 46. Sunday, we'll get up to 69, and then you can expect more rain for next week. In fact, it's looking like it's going to rain basically every day next week on some level, anywhere from a 30% chance of rain to a 50% chance of rain each day next week, with highs in the mid-60s to upper 60. Actually, I see a 71 as your high on next Wednesday. But that's where we're going to be next week. Next week is going to be a whole lot of chance of rain, not guaranteed. Right now, we're sunny and 31 in downtown Baton Rouge. Keeping it right here at as we continue on. The phone lines are open if you are open as well. 499-1073 if you want. In the meanwhile, at this point, like, we've covered everything, right? We talked with the Metro Airport yesterday. They've got flights that are already taken off, by the way. In fact, let me pull that site back up while we cover this. But we're to the point now where it's time for just free stories, man. What did you see? What did you do during the whole snowstorm? John, let's start with you. All right. If we rewind the clock back to Monday night, you had to make the call. Were you going to be in the building? Because once it started, it was done with. Once it was started, there was no going back and forth. And you had to take care of the household. So what was the storm like for you?
That was a little insane. That was insane. To spare most of the details here, but oldest daughter was just not feeling it, just not feeling good, and so kind of weathered the storm from home. Honestly, it was okay. No power outages or anything like that. Pipes are still intact, so nothing like that. But yeah, man, just absolutely cold. Made some memories with the kids, but other than that, it was I laid low. Let's just say that.
Okay. All right. How many y'all took about 6 inches?
Oh yeah. In our backyard, we got about 10.
Really?
There are parts in our backyard. Yeah.
Okay.
Just
and
depending
they call
on
those drifts or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Depending on where it was in the backyard.
All right. Cade Wassan, program director, who, by the way, John, did you listen yesterday morning?
I'd be lying if I said I did.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm so sorry.
No.
Cade, I could have lied. Of course.
Cade produced remotely, like from his house.
like how? That's
Well, Brian had the setup here, and once the console was set up, I was able to remote into our computer that handles all the commercials and elements. Brian's opens and rejoins, and then kind of, he had a couple of cuts, and we put it on. I guess the audience doesn't need to know all the super details, but we made it happen. I had a radio in my kitchen. I had a laptop where I could watch the Facebook and YouTube streams, and then I had an iPad that could get us in and out of break. So,
and the reason why I mention it, because for those who don't know, I mean, this is not just a click of a few buttons here. I mean, it's a process, right?
Pretty intense show.
Yeah, it's intense. And so hearing that you've done it from home is really impressive.
And I guess looking at these buttons, we probably could get these on and off back working, because that way you could have turned your mic.
Well, I have
okay.
an off button over here, but
I got you. Yeah.
It's a good reach.
We made it work. Yeah.
What was your experience like at the house?
So it's interesting because I draw back memories from really when I was my child's age. When I was 6, back in 1989, was the only memory I had of heavy snow. And I remember sitting at home and not being able to leave down the bayou. John knows what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And, it just felt like this winter wonderland storybook looking. I don't have a lot of visual memories, but I just remember being stuck at my grandma's house and sitting by the fire, and we couldn't leave. And it was just so heavy snow. And my grandpa, I think, was smoking some deer jerky or something.
Okay.
So that smell kind of resonates. Yeah. But looking at, I was telling John a second ago, what I see when I drove in today would feel like a heavy snow under every other circumstances here.
That which is left 36 hours
right now,
later. Yeah.
And yet what I walked through in my backyard and down the street was this, I don't know. It's like I was in the mountains in Colorado or something. It was just so thick. It got to about 6 or 7 inches from what I could measure in the backyard.
Mm-hmm.
I found out my kid enjoyed it for about just a couple minutes, and then said it was kind of too cold. Dad.
This is Annabelle's first snow.
Yeah, a little too cold. We made a snowman. She wanted to have a snowball fight, but she didn't want me to hit her with the snow. So I don't know how that works.
Yeah, she was part of the fight.
But it's interesting because I woke up that Tuesday morning to make sure, I guess, everything was going okay with the show. And when I walked into my living room and looked out the back, the yard at about 5:15 was already covered in a decent amount of snow.
Yeah.
And I knew that we still weren't done with the heaviest amount of snowfall, because I think it continued until about 1:30, 2 o'clock, and came in heavier probably midday.
So from about 9:30 to 11:30 was like the thickest of it.
Yeah.
After that, I couldn't tell what was still new snow falling and what was wind just whipping around snow that hadn't settled yet.
But what I saw at before 6 in the morning was, again, any other year would be we got a ton of snow.
Right.
And then it just proceeded, and just the way it piled, and just it, like, whenever we get snow down here, we get snow that covers the ground, but you see the grass kind of peek at its head.
Right.
You saw no vegetation.
It was unreal.
Yeah.
So I rolled in at about 3 o'clock on Tuesday morning before it all really started, right? And because there was no snow yet. So, and as I'm walking to the front door, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a picture of the parking lot real quick.
Before?
Yeah. And then went back out at about, I don't know what it was, maybe
3
11
hours?
o'clock. No, maybe 11 o'clock or so. Went back out, took another picture of the parking lot. They're posted up on Talk 107.3's Facebook page.
And after.
Yeah, it was how it started versus how it's going. And it just world of difference, absolute world of difference just to see the blanket of snow. But the thing is, at about right before the show started, at 6 on Tuesday morning, right before the show started, I had to run out to my car to go get something. And there was already a nice little blanket of snow out there. So I obviously made tracks in the snow to get to my car and made tracks in the snow to get back to the building. When I look back out, even the tracks didn't exist anymore. Like that's how much that's how much came down was.
Yeah. When we went play outside, so to speak, in the snow, and it was in kind of the backyard. I've got this little patio area, so to speak. And yeah, we had tons of little footprints and we had shoveled enough. By the time we got back in the house, all that was covered back up. The amount of wind and the amount of at times at the heaviest, it was zero visibility. It was like a because the like rain was coming, the snow was coming down in basically sheets.
Yeah.
And watching the wind blow and seeing not only the snow on the ground but just in the air, it did not look like South Louisiana.
Not at all.
Let's put this one out there as well. 499-1073 if you want to play along here. What was your experience? What did you see throughout? 499-1073. What surprised you about this snow?
Did you see the people in New Orleans that made the snowman and turned it into a snowball?
No.
Covered it with syrup?
Oh, I did see that. Yeah, they were kind of sipping from it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did
Really
see the
cool.
snowball fight out in front of Jackson Square.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah, right
There
in
was
front
a
of
guy
St. Louis Cathedral.
Playing ice hockey down Canal.
Yeah.
So
Which, by the way, missed opportunity.
not Scott Robb, apparently.
No, missed opportunity by the Zydeco.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have had practice
Oh.
right here on Government Street.
That would have been cool. That would have been a cool bit.
Right?
Yeah.
The Baton
Wow.
Rouge Zydeco?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got about a minute till we take our break here. But I mean, on the back end of this thing, we've been going so hard as far as like covering everything and whatnot. But where we're at right now is just a matter of the sun's got to do its work. The sun, because the DOTD workers, the DPW workers, shout out again to the crew from Arkansas who's in town. They're all busting hump, but nothing's going to work better than the meltage. The temperature getting up.
How's the spillway looking for our travel later today?
Not great.
Okay.
We're probably looking like we're going to have to hop off and go airline.
Okay.
So,
Let's-
we had, I had
let's
Rodney
factor that into the time.
do what? Yes.
Yeah.
No, I already did.
Okay. Okay.
We, what we're looking at right now is, if you're heading down to New Orleans for any reason today,
Mhm.
it's open after Highland 10. You can hop on 10 and you can head all the way down until you get to, Laplace.
Gramercy.
And then you gotta not even
Okay.
Gramercy, just Laplace. You can hop over, get the airline from there. So that's as of right now. We'll continue to follow it. Oh, we got a break. We got your money now. We'll close it out next. Two takers on Are You Open?
This is a minute ahead, this clock.
Yeah, that clock's fucking. That's a waste of time.
Yeah, Annabelle goes, Daddy, let's have a snowball fight. I was like, all right, baby. So I back up a little bit. I'm not going to be aggressive. I got some snow, and I just like threw it at her.
Yeah.
You hit me in the face. It's a snowball fight. Okay, you can only hit me right here. Well, what then we're not playing. What are you doing? Hey, I want to build a snowman, Dad. 2 minutes later. Yeah, it's too cold. Then we go to the backyard. Let's shovel a bunch of snow in a pile, and I'm gonna jump in it.
Yeah.
She runs and just like kneels down. I was like, no, go like just dive into it like the pool. Okay. We don't know how to act. We don't know how to.
Yeah. I had the urge to dive in it.
It was so thick in my backyard. Like
It was.
She's like, I couldn't see the grass. Like, and through walking and shoveling, I still couldn't see like grass.
Oh
type stuff.
man.
And yesterday I went for like a little run down the street,
Yeah.
and like even at the brightest part of the day, middle afternoon, it was just it started coming off my house, off the sides, and there was a bunch of ice buildup. I was worried, like ice all in the gutters.
Mhm.
So I went kind of like break that off,
Oh right.
and then my worry was like this water's dripping, and then it's gonna get back to 28 degrees, and it's gonna freeze up again.
True. Yeah.
And that's where you get the icicles.
Yeah. Stalactites.
Renee says Brian did the show from his house during COVID. Okay, so here we go. It's easier for me to do the show on remote than it is for the producer to be remote. Because this microphone here is just one signal going into the board. Me doing the show from my house is the same as me doing the show from Washington Mardi Gras tomorrow.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Right.
So
Oh, by the way, we got to figure that out. Are we doing the dish? We're doing the 1 to 3:30?
yeah, it's 1 to 3 right now. I'm not going to have permission until I get there to go all the way to 3:30.
Okay.
They're
Are
gonna
you
be
able to
setting
do that
up.
one?
Yeah,
Or
I got
cover
tomorrow,
Saturday?
just Saturday. Yeah, Saturday I'll work.
Okay, yeah, tomorrow 6 till 9, and then 1 to 3.
Okay.
All right, so I'll send that to Lisa, but I was trying to figure out. I wanted to send her at one time if I knew the Saturday time. Do you want to do noon
What-
to 2 or noon to?
It would
You want to do 1?
the earlier the better. The earlier it
Haggai's-
can be done, the better.
Unless we can. Haggai's done at noon, and then at noon we can do whatever we want.
Noon to 2.
Noon to 2.
Noon to 2, which would be 1 to 3 their time. We're 1 to 3 our time here. Let me make sure. We might be noon to 2 tomorrow.
Okay.
Because it's based off of when I can actually be in that.
Before you leave to go back to your house to get, can you just give me those times?
100%.
That way I'll
yes.
give Lisa all that time. I'll schedule it. What I'm going to run is considered a best of Brian, like the best of Brian Haldane when you're on holiday.
1 to 3
o'clock.
Eastern Friday. So it's noon to 2 tomorrow.
Noon to 2 tomorrow.
Noon to 2 tomorrow, and then noon to 2 on Saturday.
That's our
Okay,
time?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still good.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so no, we're not walking all the way up to women's
That's fine.
basketball.
That's fine.
All right.
So noon to 2 both days, our time.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the first East to Central mistake I've made. The point was to get there and not have an hour's worth of programming in between. So we'll take an hour from Kilmeade and an hour from Ramsey. Oh man.
Yeah, because Ramsey will go 2 to 4. So you're only losing 1 hour.
Oh. So this building when it's empty I'm fine with the building when it's empty. But when all of downtown is empty, it got creepy up here. Like I already know the ghosts are gonna run the elevator in the old building, right? You already know, yes. You
What are you
already
talking about?
our
The
building's
elevator
haunted
runs by itself?
every once in a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not
You'll
creepy.
hear a ding and it'll be open.
Yeah. I know enough to not be in the basement on the other side in the overnight hours.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
it just feels awkward to hear things.
But I was looking for a shovel.
go
to
take
go-
a slam on the second floor on that side.
No.
There's
Absolutely
a
not.
person in this building, and I'll just keep it anonymous because they shared the story with me, and I don't need the audience to know. They were using the bathroom on that side, and the doors, they were by themselves, and the door to the bathroom opened, and the door to the stall opened. It was no one. There was no one in there but this person, and doors opened. by
Dude.
themselves.
Yeah.
Swung open,
Chills
swung
right now.
closed. And then
Oh my gosh.
there's because I don't know, this building was built years ago. The only thing that was on was the light. There is a button that turns on there's a switch that turns on the heater. No one even knew there was a heater there. The heater came on. That switch flicked up and on. Turn the heater on.
I like
The
it. I wish I
switch
could
was
see
in the
creepy
off
stuff.
position when she was in there, and then it went off. and on. I don't know.
I've heard creepy stuff like in an old apartment we used to live in, but I never seen it. And Jamie's like, "You're insane," because I'm like, I want to see something. I've heard it. I want to see something crazy. I want a door to just
Last
swing
year
open.
around Mardi Gras time, so our sales department's on the 4th floor over there.
Yeah.
Last year around Mardi Gras time, this is before it was like early morning hours. I just walked in and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go see if they got any king cake because sales has always got king cake, right?
Yeah.
And I go over there and I'm getting a piece of king cake, and we're on the 4th floor. Lights are out. I'm the only one in the building. Nobody else is here yet. Elevator doors on the 4th floor open up.
No.
Elevator doors close.
No. No.
Why would it? And then it goes back down to 1. So 856 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Last segment before we hand off to Moon Griffon, and I head on out. I'm headed towards Washington Mardi Gras, which is where I will be for tomorrow morning show, God willing. I mean, this is subject to.
You got a Village People concert to go to?
I do.
They're back, baby.
Yeah. So no, this is subject to whether or not flights get off in time.
Right. Yeah.
So, but I'll be heading down to fly out. We'll be doing a show tomorrow morning from 6 till 9.
Huge show.
Huge. Another one from noon to 2 our time, and then Saturday noon to 2 as well, to make sure we're covered on the content front. Of course, all of our Washington Mardi Gras coverage is presented by Presley Wealth Management, Rev, Baton Rouge Metro Airport, and Restore the Mississippi River Delta. So mapping out some of
Metro
the,
Airport got a lot of extra love this week considering the work they were doing. I saw that the way they were trying to clear the runways.
Yeah.
I mean, they were putting in a lot of time.
Well, so I saw a couple pictures that we were just
Talk's
texting back
Facebook
and forth.
page has a couple, I think, too.
Yes, yeah. Put them together so I did that wrong in the reel because it's like 8 pictures, but it only looks like 4 because if 2 pictures look similar, it scrolls between one to the next.
Oh, really?
I did that wrong. So anyway, we're at that phase now where all that's left is the waiting.
Yeah.
All that's left is the waiting to see how much gets thought out today, how much gets cleared off today before we are fully back out and at it. We were talking during the break. Y'all were sharing your stories about what was going on elsewhere.
Yeah.
Man, I got to tell you. So for those that don't know, this building, the building, it's actually 2 buildings connected together. Yeah. And the building next door here, the original Guarantee building, was the original Baton Rouge General Hospital. And it has long since been, air quote, rumored that we're haunted. I will tell you.
They kept the morgue pretty cold, huh?
I will tell you over the last couple days, I'm more than happy to confirm those rumors, man. I have seen like elevators going up and down when I'm the only one here. I mean, I'm the only one here. Nobody, like a snow-covered parking lot with no tracks, no footprints, snow-covered Spain Street behind us. There's nobody anywhere near here. I'm up on the 4th floor. Boop, elevator doors. I go down to the basement. Boop, elevator doors.
You sure it wasn't our CFO? He's here a lot. He's here a lot.
I don't think he can sneak in without putting tracks.
He made a pot of coffee somehow, virtually.
Telling you, I'm the only one here in the elevator decides it's going to run. And then I'm over here on this side, and
insurance papers start getting processed over there accidentally.
All kinds of noises. We got out of that business. Too good.
The ghost of insurance passed.
Yep. Anyway,
annuities.
It gets quiet downtown, y'all. I mean, like, not only was the building empty, but and I put this up on Talks Reels yesterday. I stepped outside to film Government Street and like saw one other person. It gets eerie. Oh, we got to get out of here. Moon Griffon's next. We'll see you tomorrow.
Curious as to what you experienced in the building overnight on the storm.
A lot of noise coming from.
You slept on that side though?
No, I slept.
Okay,
so,
I thought you were gonna take the.
No, I slept. I slept on my sofa.
Yeah.
With the space heater going. I know I'm not supposed to sleep with the space heater on.
There's the whole
but hold on. The building got down to about 49 degrees before I found the heater, the thermostat in Rivers' office. The building itself, like there was no heat going on in this building at all. And I'm like, it makes sense you turn it off when nobody's here, but holy shit. So it was 49 degrees in here, and all I had was that space heater. I know.
Should have gone and got the one out of Kate's office.
That's well, yeah, I know. And at which point they would fight and burn the whole thing down. So yeah, once I figured out how to turn the thermostat back on, it was a little bit better. But good night.
Yeah, Wednesday morning they come to produce the show, and like the charred remains of Brian at his desk.
So anyway. All right, guys. Thank y'all for playing along. We will see you tomorrow. I'll be broadcasting live, God willing, from Washington Mardi Gras. See you then.